Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome everyone to a brand new deep dive analysis. Today, we're going to completely unpack a super profound conversation that just caught our attention from the source material. We're zeroing in on a very specific, literally game-changing moment featuring Raj Shamani. Success is this buzzword we hear, every single day, right? But honestly, how often do we actually stop, take a breath, and decode what it really means? Well, today, we're dissecting the Raj Shamani formula for success. We're going to break down this fascinating little exchange to truly get at the philosophy behind the modern hustle.
Section 1. Defining true success. Get ready because this is a whole new perspective.
So what is the actual definition of success? I want you to completely clear your mind of the flashy cars, the magazine covers, all of that for just a second. Pause and answer this for yourself right now. Think of success not as some final destination you just arrive at with your luggage, but as a deeply personal psychological threshold. Like, if I put a microphone in front of you right this second, what would you say? The interviewer in our source material hits Raj with this exact, incredibly stark, universal question. It's the ultimate icebreaker for sure, but it's also a massive mirror. So before we look at Raj's answer, lock yours in. Do you measure it by wealth, by peace of mind, by societal impact? Just hold on to that thought.
Moving into Section 2, the one-line challenge. This is where a massive idea is about to be forced into a tiny little box.
Whenever you ask someone a huge philosophical question like, what is success? Our natural human instinct is to give a huge philosophical answer. We want to add all the nuances, the caveats, the bullet points, the whole shebang. Let's actually break down the mechanics of how this plays out step by step. Step 1, the interviewer lays down that giant question. And step 2, Raj reacts exactly the way most deep thinkers naturally would. He instinctively replies, I think success is divided into two parts. See, he wants to explore the duality of it. Maybe he wants to talk about the internal versus the external, or the journey versus the destination. He's totally gearing up for this highly nuanced, layered explanation.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immediate conversational negotiation that takes place here. Look over at side A, Raj is totally ready with his nuanced thesis, stating success is divided into two parts. But then look at side B. The interviewer just instantly pushes back and interjects with, no, give it to me in one line. Boom. That is a hard constraint. The interviewer doesn't want the essay, they want a thesis statement right now, and it creates this brilliant moment of tension. Raj has completely denied his two-part framework, and suddenly he's forced to compress his entire view on success into a single punchy sentence.
Which brings us to Section 3, the ultimate quote. Anticipation's building here, guys, because this strict constraint forces Raj to pivot to a truly profound borrowed thought.
Under the immense pressure of this strict rule, Raj has to pivot, and fast. He completely abandons his original two-part theory right on the spot. When you're forced to deliver immense value in basically one breath, you often reach for the absolute most powerful piece of wisdom you've ever encountered. And before he drops the actual answer, Raj frames it so beautifully. He says, I heard this beautiful line. I will actually quote that. If you were telling me to say it in one line, then okay. Notice how deliberate this choice is. He's acknowledging the constraint, validating the rules of the game, and prepping the listener for something really special. He isn't just throwing out some random cliché off the top of his head. He's carefully selecting a piece of wisdom that resonated so deeply with him, he actually memorized it for a moment exactly like this.
And here is that beautiful line. When more money will not change your life and work, that's success. Let that just sink in for a second. When more money will not change your life and work, that is success. Wow. It is incredibly simple on the surface, right? But actually, it completely rewires how we traditionally think about wealth and our daily achievements.
Section 4. Life and work unchanged. Let's move to and see how this builds into a truly practical framework for our everyday hustle.
So we've heard the quote, but what does it actually look like when we apply it to our own daily lives? The morning alarms, the late-night emails, that endless pursuit of growth. Let's establish a formal paradigm shift here. If we treat Raj's borrowed quote as a literal philosophical definition, it looks exactly like this. Success is the specific threshold where an increase in financial wealth literally ceases to alter an individual's lifestyle or daily labor. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that success isn't defined by the sheer volume of cash sitting in your bank account. It's actually defined by the irrelevance of acquiring more of it. You've hit a point of such deep alignment and absolute contentment that a giant, totally unexpected check wouldn't make you go out and buy a different house, and it absolutely wouldn't make you quit your job.
And this brilliantly illustrates the equation at play here. In the left column, we've got our variable, more money. Now, in a typical scenario, injecting more money into a situation changes literally everything, right? But look over at the right column, the constant result. You add more money, and there is absolutely no change in life. You add more money again, and there is zero change in work. The money is just the trigger, but true success is when the results, your life and your work, remain stubbornly, beautifully unchanged. It means you've reached a state of ultimate equilibrium.
To really cement this concept, let's reframe and repeat these three core variables just one more time. First, the money, the paisa, completely loses its power to dictate your choices. You are no longer making decisions based on financial fear or, financial greed. Second, your life, your lifestyle, your habits, your daily routines, it all remains rock steady. You don't suddenly start buying flashy things just to show off because you're already deeply content. And third, your work, your calm, your passion, your daily grind continues entirely unaffected. You're working because you genuinely love the work, because it gives you actual purpose. Hitting this threshold means you are finally doing exactly what you are meant to do on this earth, completely regardless of the paycheck attached to it.
As we wrap up this analysis, I really want to take Raj's metric and turn it directly onto you. If you had way more money today, would your work change? Honestly, if you won the lottery tomorrow, would you still show up to do exactly what you are doing right now? Would your daily routine shift? It is a demanding, even kind of uncomfortable question, I know, but it's the ultimate litmus test for the path you're currently walking. Use this as a mirror to evaluate your own hustle. Are you merely chasing a number, or are you chasing the point where the numbers no longer matter? Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive, and I'll leave you to sit with that powerful thought until next time.